Hello and welcome to a training about outdoor safety. My name is Erin Smithers and I'm the Information and Referral Coordinator with the ARC of New Jersey's program, the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project. So today we're going to be talking about being safe when you start to do outdoor activities. The weather's hopefully getting to be nicer soon. Summer is going to be here before we know it, and everybody loves to be doing exercises and activities outdoors. But it's important that you make sure that you're being safe when you do them. So there's some benefits to being outside, of course. It relieves stress. It can provide great exercise. It can help lower your blood pressure, boost your mood. It helps with vitamin D when you get that natural sunlight. It can also help boost your eye health, improve your sleep. It definitely helps improve your mental health, your awareness, and it's always great to start breathing fresh air and get away from that recycled air inside. So the first activity we're going to be talking about is camping. I love to camp. Camping can be a lot of fun, and especially if you're in New Jersey like we are, there are a lot of places you can go camping. So it's always important to make sure you're prepared when you go camping. A lot of times you might be in the middle of nowhere. You might not have all the supplies you need, so you want to try to prepare for as much as you can. You want to make sure you're bringing proper clothing for the weather that is supposed to happen and that could happen. That means maybe bringing an extra sweatshirt or a rain jacket just to be prepared to make sure that you're warm enough should the weather dip into the cold temperatures. You want to make sure you have comfortable bedding. You want to try to protect your back as much as possible when you're sleeping. Some people love to sleep on the ground, but it's important to make sure you have some sort of protection between you and the ground, give you some sort of comfort. Again, you want to make sure you have proper protection from the weather. So if it's raining, a tent would be fantastic. Rain gear, and make sure that everything is in the dirt. If you are setting up a tent, you want to make sure that it's stable. It's not going to blow away in the wind. Then you want to prepare to have safe food and water. You want to try to stay away from eating berries or mushrooms you might find in the woods near you, and also the water that might look clean, but it might not actually be that clean. So it's important to make sure you're bringing fresh water and you're bringing prepared foods or closed foods so that you know that they're safe. And even in New Jersey, there's lots of wild animals to make sure you're being protected from. We do have bears, raccoons, cougars, we have bobcats, we have wolves now, we have a lot of different animals that you probably won't see, but it's always important to make sure that you're staying protected. You want to, definitely with the bears, whenever you're done with your food or your garbage, you want to secure it in a place like your car or your trunk, or the place that you're camping at might have receptacles that are good for that. Raccoons love to get into your garbage, and they also love to make a giant mess. So just be careful that you're protecting yourself from these animals as much as you are protecting the animals from your garbage. They could choke on the plastic or the food wrappers, and some of that food that you are leaving out might not be very healthy for the animals themselves. So you want to make sure you're bringing bug protection. We do have a lot of mosquitoes and ticks, so you want to make sure that you're checking yourself after every walk, after every hike. You want to check for ticks and check for tick marks. You'll notice the bullseye if you do get bit by a tick who carries Lyme disease. And then of course, since you're going to be in the sun, and this is going to be repeated in every event we talk about, but you want to make sure you're wearing sunblock. And like I said, you want to clean up after your mess. And New Jersey is quite beautiful, especially if you're going way up north or you're going down the shore or you're going down south. There's a lot of beautiful areas with lakes and mountains, and you don't want to litter. You want to try to clean up all of your mess, and if possible, try to clean up other messes you see as well. So hiking. There are a lot of places to go hiking. You want to make sure, again, you're wearing proper clothing for the weather. This means preparing for rain. Again, just being prepared is going to help you stay healthy in every aspect. You definitely want to wear supportive shoes with proper tread. So if it's a little muddy out, you want to have some sort of protection from slipping and sliding. If you're hiking on scree, or if you're scrambling, which is basically just hiking up loose rocks and pebbles, that can be quite dangerous. So you want to make sure you have maybe a hiking stick and you have fantastic shoes that support your ankles and have a fantastic tread. That's really going to help you get up those areas. You want to make sure you have a lot of water. You want to bring water with you, maybe have water back at the car too in case you finish all the water on your hike, but you want to bring more water than you think you'll need because especially when you're hiking in the summer, you're going to lose a lot of your body water by sweating. So you want to always make sure you have enough water, and you're definitely probably going to need a lot more water than you think you will. And just like with camping, you want to avoid wild animals. You want to stay on the path and make sure that you're keeping an eye out for other animals. Not that they will attack you, but again, just to be aware of each other, making sure you see them, that they see you. And just go about your way, keep on hiking, and just try to avoid them because they're just as scared of you. And again, bring bug protection. This is probably going to be repeated each time as well because New Jersey can be really bad with ticks and with mosquitoes. There's also gnats that love to bother you. So having some sort of bug protection, whether it's natural or whether it's a spray-on or a citronella candle if you're camping, just something to protect you from all of the bugs. And of course, wear sunblock. If you're going to be out in the sun all day, you really need to protect your skin. You don't want to litter. Again, you want to keep the area as pristine as how you found it. You want to, even if you are walking along and you see other garbage, try to pick up that garbage as well. Take out what you bring in. Hopefully you can take out some more and make the area even cleaner. So you want to use your map, have a backup system. A lot of times when you're hiking or camping or anywhere in New Jersey, there's a lot of spots that don't have internet or Wi-Fi or cell service. So you want to have some sort of backup like a map. Make sure you're following the trail markers. Sometimes it might be easy to stay on the trail, but you always want to look for the marks on the trees, follow the same color, and it's always good to have a knowledge of where you're headed before you go hiking. That way you can know of any forks that come up or any side trails, to stay on the main trail. You kind of know where you're going. You want to not hike at night if it's possible. Animals are more active at night, and then also it might be harder to see the trail markers. You definitely, hiking alone, God forbid something could happen and you could be stuck there without enough food or water. It's just a little bit more dangerous. Most people don't hike at night. You're hard to see. So if you are hiking at night and something does happen, there might not be anyone coming again until the next day. So if you're hiking during the day, it's very often you'll see other people on the trail, and if you need help, they can stop and help you. But if you do have to hike at night, make sure you have a flashlight or a headlamp that you can wear so that you can see where you're going, so that people can see you. Make sure you have more than enough food, snacks, or water to last you through the night should anything happen, and have a backup plan. Make sure you're in an area where you can use cell service so you can call for help if you need it, or make sure it's a trail that has emergency phones on it. A lot of trails in New Jersey have that, where you can stop and call for help. And also, like the next point says, try to make sure someone knows where you are, where you're going, and when you'll be back. That way, if something happens, which we all hope it doesn't, but just in case if something happens, someone knows where to look for you. And then again, very important, check for ticks. When you're done hiking, check your body, your shoes, your socks, your clothes for ticks, and your head. Check behind your ears and in your hairline because they like to go where it's warm and dark. So try to check those areas as well. Have someone help you check if you need to check your back or under your arms or the back of your head. And remember that it's important you do this every time you hike, not just once a day, not just, once every location you're at, but every time you go out into the wild, you want to make sure that you're checking yourself for ticks. Even if you just walk around your neighborhood, there's a lot of neighborhoods in here that have ticks, so just be careful. The next fantastic activity that people love to do in New Jersey is go to the beach, go to the shore, spend the day at the ocean or on the boardwalk. So again, the most important thing is when you're spending the day at the beach, because sometimes time can get away from you, is to make sure you're wearing but also reapplying sunblock. If you're going to spend a lot of time in the sun, especially on the beach where it's literally just you and the sun, there's nothing to, offer protection like trees or, a storefront. You want to make sure you're reapplying sunblock. You want to reapply it if you're not going in the water, like probably once every hour, or if you're going in the water, you want to reapply it as soon as you get out of the water, because the water can rub it all off. But if you check the back of your sunblock, it'll tell you how often to reapply. They also make these cool stickers you can wear, and the sticker will change color when it's time to reapply your sunblock. So that can be a great reminder as well. And the next point, drinking water. It's always important when you're doing any sort of activity, but when you're spending all day in the beach, you might not realize that you're losing a lot of water, especially when you're in the ocean and you're swimming around in the water. You are losing your body water. You're sweating even though you might not realize it, or it's just being evaporated because you're soaking in the sun. So drink water constantly. And if you are partaking in some fun activities and you're drinking alcohol, make sure you're also drinking water along with that alcohol. You want to bring food or snacks with you, because again, if you're spending all day somewhere, you want to make sure you're being prepared. You want to make sure that you have everything that you need. And even though we're in New Jersey and we're not in Hawaii with giant breaking waves, we still can have very nasty rip currents. Rip currents could pull you out to sea. It can be very hard to swim in them, and they can be very strong. So there'll be signs, and it's preferable if you go to a beach with lifeguards, because they can tell you how the weather is in the water, meaning if it's a strong current or if the waves are rough or the currents are rough. There'll be signs and there'll be flags. Green means it's a great day to go swimming, have fun, do whatever you want. Red means the water is a little bit too rough and you can't really go in. Yellow kind of means in a lot of places you can only go in up to your knees. That anywhere past that, the water is too rough and you could get pulled out to sea or you could drown. So it's always important to keep an eye out on the signs that are on the beach. They're going to forewarn you on any dangers that are in the area. Again, we don't really have to worry about sharks, but if there was a shark sighting, there will be signs on the beach. And we don't really have to worry about dangerous jellyfish either. We kind of have it really good in New Jersey. But for some reason, if there's any sort of predator in the water or in the area, there will be signs. The lifeguards will let you know. You can always go up to a lifeguard too and ask. Try not to bring a lot with you. Carrying a lot over the sand, and it's going to exert a lot of energy, and it's going to make you lose more body water. So try to just bring the necessities, bring what you need, and you can always they have beach carts, so you can pack everything in the cart and then just pull that with you. That's a lot easier. But it can be hard to walk on the sand, especially if you're carrying a lot of items. And again, don't litter. The beaches are beautiful. We want to keep them that way. Take out what you bring in, and if at all possible, try to pick up any other trash you see along your way. Most public beaches too in New Jersey don't allow alcohol, and they don't allow smoking. So keep that in mind if you're planning on doing any of those activities, or if you want to at any of the beaches. It's a good idea to look up ahead of time what the beaches allow. Some beaches need you to pay to get on them. Some you have to pay per car, some you pay per person. It's just a good idea to look it up ahead of time, and again, be prepared. And bike riding. There's a lot of places to ride your bike around New Jersey. We also have a lot of places you can rent a bike to ride if you don't have one of your own. So again, you're going to be in the sun, you want to wear sunblock. You want to reapply your sunblock depending on how long you're out there, but it is very important to protect your skin. Again, you want to drink water. You're going to be exerting yourself. You're going to be exercising. You're going to be sweating, especially if it's hot and in the sun. So drink water, bring water, have extra water. Water is so important. You want to ride safe. So this means you want to wear a helmet, knee pads, elbow pads. If you're not comfortable riding a bike, maybe try, a bike with larger tires or even with training wheels. It's no shame. You just want to be safe. You don't want to hurt yourself or hurt anybody else. You want to use your proper turning signals. So this means since there's no flashers or blinkers on a bike, you have to use your arms if you're riding on a road to let other cars or pedestrians or other bikers know if you're turning. So now let's talk about that. If you're riding on the road, first thing, of course, you want to make sure you're either using the bike lane or if there's an area designated for bikes. A lot of times you'll see signs that say share the road. That means you're sharing a lane with cars. So you want to always be listening out for cars. You want to be looking out for cars. But if you have to turn, we're going to talk about the turn signals. If you need to turn left, you're going to hold your left arm straight out and point left to your side. So again, you're going to take your left arm, point straight out to your left, and that means you want to make a left turn. So if you want to make a right turn, there's two ways that are kind of signified and accepted to do this. The old traditional way is to use your left hand, hold your left hand straight out to your side as if you're going to make a left-hand turn, but then move your hand up and point up. So now your arm is kind of making an L shape. And this means that you want to make a right. Or you could simply take your right arm, extend it out to your side, and point right as if you're making a right turn. You're basically just pointing left or you're pointing right. And then to stop, if you're going to stop suddenly or if you know you're coming up to a stop, so that the people around you know what you're intending to do, you're going to take your left arm and you're going to hold it out as if you're making a left or a right turn to your side, but you're going to hold your arm down. So it's going to look like an upside down L. It's going to go straight out and then at the elbow turn down. And that means to let everyone around you know that you're going to stop. When you use these signals, it helps other people prepare for your turns. Also, it helps maybe make them give you a little bit more space so that you can make your turn safely. It's always important, though, to make sure that you're communicating with the people around you and the cars so that they know what you're doing, because even though you're on a bike, you don't want to hurt any other pedestrians and you don't want to get hurt by any other cars. You also want to ride with traffic. So that means you want to be going in the same direction the cars are going, especially if you're sharing a lane with cars. So you want to go when have the cars come up behind you. This is going to help them see you, let them know that you're there, but also it's going to help you be more prepared to make these turns when you have to. You have to follow all of the rules of the road, meaning even though you're not in a car, if there's a stop sign, you have to stop. If there's a stoplight, you have to stop. If there's a yellow light, you have to slow down to a stop. You have to make sure that you're abiding by all of these other rules. If a lane is closed, you have to go to a different lane as well. So it's just like if you're driving a car, even though you're on a bike. And then, of course, if you have to ride a bike, again, try not to. That way, people can see you better during the day and it might be harder at night. But if you have to ride your bike at night, use lights on your bike so that people know you're there, or reflectors. Make sure you have a reflector vest so that people can see you as well. And these are going to be beneficial for nighttime riding just to make sure that everybody can see you. Another fun activity to do in New Jersey in one of our many beautiful public parks is to have a picnic. You can just bring proper clothing for weather like we talked about, wear sunblock, bring bug protection. Bugs love food as well, so you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your food from the bugs and the other animals. Clean up after your mess. Of course, we don't want to just throw trash on the grass or in the woods. There should be garbage cans located throughout, but if not, you should be prepared with a garbage bag of your own to clean up any mess that you have. And don't litter. Again, animals can get hurt from anything we throw in the water, from anything we throw on the ground. It's not meant for them. You'll notice in this picture we have 2 swans, which brings me to my next point. If you do have a picnic or if you do go to a lake to feed birds, birds are harmed by bread. It might be common knowledge, you think, to feed birds bread, to feed ducks bread, but it's not good for them. It can make them sick. It can also harm them even worse. So if you still want to go to the lake to feed ducks or to feed birds in the park, they like to eat things like corn. So canned corn, frozen corn, or fresh corn. Also, you can get duck pellets or duck food or bird food, bird seeds, bird feeder online or in certain stores. Also lettuce. They like to eat lettuce. You can tear it up and you can throw it in the water and you can put it on the ground and birds will eat lettuce. Weirdly enough, they also like to eat frozen peas. And that's not going to harm them. It's small enough that they can swallow as well. You can also feed them rolled oats or instant oats. And lastly, like I said, just seeds. Nuts and seeds are good for ducks and birds and they won't harm them and they like to eat them. You also might get a few squirrels around you if you start throwing out some nuts and seeds. So another popular activity to do in the summer is running, jogging, or walking. A lot of these are going to be repeated from other activities, but that doesn't make them any less important. They're still extremely important to make sure you stay safe. So again, proper clothing for weather. If it's extremely hot out, sometimes we get temperatures above 100. You don't want to be going running in a sweatshirt or sweatpants. You want to let your body breathe. So also the same goes if it's cold out. If it's chillier, you want to kind of layer up. Put on a zippable hoodie or a jacket. That way if it does get warmer and you start to get overheated, you can take it off and be cooled down. You want to have supportive shoes. There's hiking shoes specifically for hiking, just like there's running shoes specifically for running. So if you're running or jogging, you want to make sure you're wearing a shoe that has a very comfortable sole. It has arch protection. And if you're walking, you just want to wear something that's comfortable, that's going to give you support and not going to give you blisters. So like anytime you're in the sun at the beach or if you're camping, bring sunglasses and it'll help protect your eyes. Just like your skin, you want to help protect your eyes because they're sensitive. And if you're going to be outdoors, of course, you want to bring bug protection. Again, of course, you want to wear sunblock. You have to protect your skin. With sunblock, you want to make sure you're also using sunblock on your face, on your ears, on your neck, on the back of your neck, the front of your neck, the tops of your feet. If you're wearing flip-flops, sometimes you might forget about those areas, but they also can succumb to burning. You want to make sure, again, you're drinking a lot of water. If you are running or jogging in a place where there are cars and a lot of traffic, you want to wear bright clothes. Something to get you seen, something so other people see you and know where you are. Again, just like we spoke about with bike riding or with hiking, you want to try not to do it at night. I know sometimes it might be the only time you can do it, or it might be a necessity where you have to do it, but take precaution if you are going to go running, jogging, or walking at night. Wear reflective clothing so people see you. Bring a flashlight or a headlamp so you can see where you're going and signal to others in case you need help. Have a cell phone with you so you can call for an emergency in case there is one. And again, maybe bring some snacks with you in case something happens, you have enough food to get you through the night. Always try to walk on a sidewalk if there is one. That's going to be the safest place for you to walk. If there is no sidewalk, you want to stay on the shoulder if you're walking on a road, as close to the curb as possible, if not walking on the curb or on the grass instead of the road. That's also going to be the safest place for you. And just like with any exercise, you want to stretch first. You want to get your blood pumping and your muscles stretched, so that way you don't have any cramps or injuries while you are exercising. And our last activity is swimming. Even if you're not at the ocean, there's plenty of places to go swimming, whether it's in a pool or one of our many lakes in New Jersey. There's always an opportunity to find an area to go swimming. So swimming, especially even if you're a strong swimmer, can be dangerous for anybody. There are things that can happen. You never know. So it's always, again, good to just be prepared and don't swim alone. Let someone know where you are, let someone know where you're going, or have someone with you. So that way, if you need help, they can help you, or if they need help, you can help them. If you are able to go swimming when there's a lifeguard, always do that, because a lifeguard is prepared for any situation, not just drowning, but first aid if there is any sort of physical accident, like if you hurt your arm, or if you scratch yourself, or if there's an animal in the area. They know how to prepare and handle all of those situations. And again, like we talked about at the beach, it's important to drink water even though you're in the water. You want to drink fresh water that you brought with you, because you might not realize how much sweat you're sweating or how much water you're losing by exercising, especially when you're in the water. And even on some of our lakes, they're pretty big. They do have waves. They might even have a little bit of a current. If you're swimming in a river, there definitely will be a current. So just keep an eye out and be safe during those. Again, look for signs in the area that will alert you to any dangers, a strong rip current, or strong waves. If you are swimming in a lake, there should be designated swimming areas, because on a lot of lakes there are boats or jet skis allowed, and it can be very, very hard to see a swimmer from your boat, especially if a boat is going very fast. The front part of their boat tips up, so it can be very, very hard to see a swimmer in their path. So if you do go out on a boat and you are swimming, it's important to raise your orange flag. That's going to let other boats know that there's swimmers in the water around the boat. You also want to stay close to the boat when you're swimming in that kind of situation. That way, other boaters and motorists can be on the lookout for you in the water. If you're not on a boat and you're just swimming at a beach or along the coast, again, just keep a really big lookout for any boats or any jet skis or any rafts or canoes in the area, and make sure that you can raise your arms or get out of the way fast in case someone is coming. Try again not to swim at night. In a lot of our lakes, there are a lot more wild animals that come down at night to drink the water. There's water moccasins and poisonous snakes too we have in the state. And they are more active at night as well. So again, just be careful. You want to keep yourself safe, and you want to also keep the animals safe. If you do have to go swimming at night, again, make sure someone knows where you are, knows when you'll be back, and knows where to look for you. Try to have some sort of backup again, like a cell phone, in case you need to call for help or call for an emergency. And it's always great when you're swimming to either keep your eyes closed underwater, especially if you're in a chlorinated pool, but you can also bring goggles to wear under the water. That's also going to protect your eyes, and it's kind of great when you're in a lake and you want to keep your eyes open and see what's around you. Sometimes there's still really cool, interesting fish you can see, or sometimes a lost bike or two, who knows. But it's fun to keep your eyes open, and goggles are a great way to do that. Protect your eyes while they're open underwater. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach me at the phone number and the email listed here on the screen. And I hope that everybody has a fantastic time doing all of the fun stuff in the summer you can to get the extra exercise in and enjoy the sunlight. Thank you.